second wife, no third wife or no so na fourth wife in the one will be.
Since in a say, okay, says our area, you are taking what to go. No one can say,
hey, you have yourself, oh, Udo be on for Donna, or the name side chick, so now how? I don't go down when I also do. Hey, do to polish. Obaba, kolebu pada na ubenya. What they are bored in Mukama. Oba moto Mukama. What shall 90? What channel? Or ye couldn't quadia or qua or beba. In the Santo Quano, a win.
Okay.
Also by Uba boy. Uba boya. Both okay, Channy Ketia. Now, to what is your gum, Gumuno, Obaka said, be gumi or Baba Copedia. Where I be gum or Baba Copedia. There be any yes, sir.
I see.
We are there, Obeko. Jano non or qua or Beba. When I get a certificate to retrofie. Now we are digging a knee, wouldn't talk at one and we bet to cry or maybe. Okonya baby, none hotono kakra, near crock on a side chicken so many abre. O ninsaso ni say grab na so benya chop money kakra na ayi na oye nkwan kuma na oye we na to the table kama behu no waka ho okwa o de kwa oba wo so je odie da jiji nani na nani nka fie ojiji nani na okọ ho na nani tan o kakra be obebe fie wahu o hwe na wunti bi so na ejai enkoteti obi ba jai na kopa oba bi tra ebi se bemma bia ni wo mo crash abokola ne kra no also for cry wakotra me cry west bemma bia ni ho abaka se sebi ohun ne yire ba ko na anote ho mum ye mfa nche ye tirimu saa mum ne ye ho ntoye na ye hu se bemma no ye den a obekọ nti obekọ ne de ene ye krokro no wahoa no oh mi bro ni waba dada waba betra se wadidi na se wakoche ye komo ne o na aduane ni to katapama no na so oda so a oso je wo de enu anu no case close se ayi o yesa na once wakoma kra enye wo ya ni phone belio ni phone am belio ba fa ho be wato phone ama no mani kita ni phone
say say we won tia ware dodo
me dabi be ma no so be mo so onye ye fuboni oni masa ntu be ye dede sa bibi be ye
nti wo mum na so fa ho adwene
wo be nya BP na na do ye kra ohun ya nti be ma ne kra nti ne bottle na wo ha ho na me be ba beto me ya bote no mai bompa ese urade mfa ne medu asundue mu ukura ba fie eno anu no wa wie o case.
Day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354. Also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking Publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Ghana's biggest real estate event is back, and it's even better. Looking for your dream home? Want to invest in land or explore real estate opportunities? Then don't miss the 8th edition of the Mikasa Home and Property Fair. Meet and connect with Ghana's leading real estate developers, mortgage providers, home improvement experts, and more, all under one roof. You'll also get access to free seminars and expert-led info sessions covering everything you need to know about buying, financing, and owning property in Ghana. Date 5th and 6th December 2025. Venue the Icon Event Center, East Legon, a minute drive from the East Legon Tunnel. Time 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day. Attendance is absolutely free. Register at mikasa.com/fair. Headline sponsor Gold Key Properties. Platinum sponsor Clifton Homes. Media partner City FM and Channel 1 TV.
Oh, Jose, and I made the SMS. Cannon Pano, Nasana, Michiana, what me. A drain I didn't quano, Kingdom Garlic Bitters. No, more benefit. Me benefit wine. Also, got told dear. Abrewa, the smile, our brand, Michuve. One antique crown our bread. No Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and any capsules. Nanya, what ya bribia.
Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and the capsules. Assembly, a devil when I'm when I say, send your name, your wife, company one personal. Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules, and tea. Say, see, I'm passway.
Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules. A many genius from Debefi, Abrebia. Obebia o de poor hauno. A droba kupa we hear tremendous capsules. Tremendous capsules. Yes, you ma your besima. And no, you when you be a ton robia. Kingdom Herbal, no challenger.
Brush, 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 brush your teeth. Brush, 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 2 times a day. Brush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit. Happy smile.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friendly once now. Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the accent. Me didn't sasso spray. Mr. Friendly sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
Come on, Tom Preco. uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey him later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From Natepia, cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God down for boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, Mommy, simple deletion. Mr. Goodluck no check me well.
Yeah,
man.
Easy qua. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his baby.
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompt. Yes. And then boom. Confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, baby, I'll find me for my seminar. Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
She's a member of parliament. Issues about around how Akums and she's a member of parliament. You see, the pain is that she can do what here. When you have not been misrepresented or when your language has not been distorted before.
So Article 58 of the Constitution says all executive power shall be vested in the president.
Yeah, what does history say why it took expression in the Constitution?
Oh, well, I mean, we have come from that background as a country. The 1960 Constitution was very authoritarian, and it created a lot of power in the hands of the president. And we were not doing a Republican constitution before. We're doing the British style, which is what I recommend for many African countries, because inherent in the British parliamentary system is the firm ground of accountability. The British parliamentary system provides a lot of accountability. The Prime Minister is in Parliament. You can ask him any question. And I made this presentation before the Constitution Review Committee, the Mills one. I've showed that video on television, where I appeared before the Constitution Review Committee and told them that if we don't have the British parliamentary system and we can't create accountability, we should yet create a presidential question time for the president of Ghana. He ought not to come to Parliament just once to give the sessional address and nobody asks him any question and he's gone. There are ministerial question time, but it's important, if we want to balance the scale, to create that accountability, to have the president more regularly visit Parliament on a presidential question time. And I gave the examples then to the committee. In those days, the example also were about Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, that we have been in Ghana and we have heard of a guard room in the castle where they shave people's hair. We will never get to know the truth because you can't ask the president. If it was in the British parliamentary system, he will come to Parliament and they will ask, Mr. President, is there so and so there? And it creates that accountability. Now, it will be obvious that the accountability that system gave was great. And that is why successive African leaders in the 60s, who all became despots, took away that system and created a presidential system where power resides in their hands. And so in the Second Republic, Ghana went back to that system. And somehow the coup came, it didn't work. And then in the Third Republic, they decided that they're going full presidential system. In the Fourth Republic, they obviously didn't want, and I've read I report it in the book, the Constitution Review, the work that was done by Dr. S.K.B. Asante in recommending what kind of constitution. It was obvious that the PNDC was not interested in presenting Fly Lieutenant Rawlings with either a British parliamentary system or even the French system, which generates a bit of accountability. What the French system also does, which might be good for us, is proportional representation. That may also be very good for us because in proportional representation, you will never have a useless political party. And that's why Julius Malema thrives in South Africa. If South Africa were operating our constitution, they couldn't have created a Julius Malema. Proportional representation is that you go to the election and you get 2% of the votes. If you get 2% of the vote, you have 2% of parliament. You nominate people for parliament. Nobody goes for parliamentary election. They don't vote for MPs. The parties choose their MPs. So when you are running the election and you know that the people of Ghana like Kojo Brace, and then you tell them that if I win the election, Kojo Brace will go to parliament. So you are in parliament because you are representing the percentage that the party won. That's how it is in the proportional, that's why it's called proportional representation. So you win 10% of the vote, you have 10% of parliament. So Alan Shermartin will go into the election, hope that he gets 5% of the vote, he has 5% of parliament, he nominates himself, and then he's in parliament. That's how Julius Malema is over there. So he brings in the economic freedom fighters, sets up a political party called Economic Freedom Fighters in Soweto. Then he goes into the election, he has 15%. So he has 15% of parliament. So he's there, and Jacob Zuma is there, and he can throw punches at him. And that also creates a sense of a bit of accountability. When the constitution started, we always had at least 10% of members of parliament being from the smaller parties. Yeah. By the last election of 2016, all of it had evaporated. CPP, the greatest political party in Ghana that won independence for Ghana, cannot afford a single member in parliament. And that's dangerous. So proportional representation also works. It's important for us to look at our constitution and see what will work for the development of democracy. So far, the constitution has done very well in establishing the democracy. And I think that's a good step. And in establishing important institutions of the democracy, like the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. I think that's also very important. But we now have to get to the stage where we can make accountability very important, because the complaints of people are politicians are chopping money and all of that. Transparency, very, very important. Until we get accountability and transparency together, our constitution may not live the life that we expect it to, because over 35 years, it has done what it should do. It has established a very powerful Supreme Court. We're here to see how the 9th Parliament Supreme Court will work. It has established a parliament that we all can now agree that does its work. We probably may need different kinds of people there, but that's another conversation. But the parliament works, the speaker works, everything works in the parliament. If you are a minister and you sign a document that is an international document, you don't go to parliament, it's a problem. It wasn't a problem in 1996, but it was always in the constitution. But now it's a problem. So parliament has grown. The growth of parliament and the effectiveness of parliament has become very paramount to our constitution. So that has been achieved. Now we need to achieve transparency and accountability. Otherwise, we're in trouble.
Which of the parliaments has your full attention? Which one do you like so far?
Oh, I mean, the second parliament, I think, was the best. I mean, people can debate that, but I covered it.
It had and the likes, right?
Yes, and it had Justice D.F. Annan, and
yes.
I mean, the second parliament was a real good one. The MPP had a mighty minority like they have now. And I mean, my best story from that parliament, which I record in the book, is one afternoon when we were summoned. Those days, they didn't used to do afternoon sittings that often. But one afternoon, 3 o'clock, we were summoned as a press corps to come to the chamber because the speaker was going to meet the parliament. It was about a publication. It was about an application by Hackman Usu-Agyemang that Chronicle had published, that the president had received a bribe from the Nigerian president, and that he was the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and he thought that Parliament should have a discussion on that. And those days, I mean, it wasn't simple to even mention the name Rawlings, let alone suggest that he had taken a bribe and that you wanted the conversation in Parliament. And so the speaker called and he arranged the Parliament and said, well, honorable members, Hackman Usu-Agyemang has a question here. He wants Parliament to discuss the issues in the newspaper. The NDC view of the matter is that Parliament cannot be following tabloid newspapers and discussing it. And it made some sense. J.H. Osuo-Champon, very distinguished member of Parliament at the time, was a majority leader on the NDC side. And he said that, Mr. Speaker, we cannot come. So Speaker took views from both of them on whether the Parliament should discuss it or not, as Hackman Usu-Agyemang had recommended. And it was looking like the matter was going to a vote. And the NPP was going to lose. So then the NPP was really struggling in that meeting to sort of establish how Osafo Maafo spoke, J.H. Mensah spoke, all the big people spoke. But the skills of should Parliament discuss a tabloid newspaper was really weighing against them. And then Nana Akufo-Addo stood up, and we're all wondering in the public press gallery, Well, how is he going to salvage the NDC's MPP situation here? And then he said that the matter before the House is not about whether or not Parliament should discuss the thing. That's not even the matter. So everybody was alarmed. What's he talking about? Then he proceeded to say that the matter before the House is also not if tabloids publish matters whether Parliament should. That's not the matter. The matter before the House is about the Speaker. And everyone said, what is he talking about? Justice D.F. Annan looked bemused. He said, yes, Mr. Speaker, it's about you. And he said, what is it? He said, Mr. Speaker, you are not a member of this House. And we all were like, And the Speaker sort of acknowledged, and I'm saying you are not a member of this House. You cannot determine for us what we should decide or not. We, the members of Parliament, would have to decide whatever we want to discuss. You cannot make a decision. Speaker said, okay, farewell, no problem, I understand. Therefore, let me put the question. And the MPP walked out, and they didn't take the question because, of course, they were going to lose. That was a very eventful story.
It will be the story and part of your book that really introduced me to D.F. Annan and a different type of parliament. Let's talk about some of the things.
Is that where your love for Akufo-Addo began?
Oh, I think that if you ask any reporter in the second and third parliament about Akufo-Addo, they'll probably have the same impression, especially the second parliament. He was one of the big names in parliament. He was always there. If you had 5 people in parliament, he was one of them. And in fact, he told this story when he was introducing Dominic Nitiwul, making him the Minister for Defense in 2017, that when Dominic Nitiwul won the by-election in 2002 or so, Mohammed Chambers was a member of parliament for Bimbilla, the very distinguished foreign minister, and he had been given an appointment by ECOWAS, and so a by-election was occasioned. Dominic Nitiwul was very young, and he won the by-election. And Akufo-Addo tells a story to the general public in 2017 that he was in parliament on one of those days, and there were only 3, 4, 5 people there. Parliament hasn't started, but he was on his desk, and he was writing. Then he saw this young man come to sit down. He didn't know him. And he was wondering that, who's this? And he was concerned. So he called the parliament ushers and said, but who is this? And they said, oh, he's a new member of parliament for Bimbilla. He's coming today, he's swearing in. And he said, oh, okay, all right. And so he went to see him and he called him over and they spoke, and Akufo-Addo told the public that from that day onwards, they have become very good friends. And so Akufo-Addo was always there. I mean, you come to a parliament, there are 3 people, he's sitting down, he's writing. And given that he was such a big name and he shows up, he's always there, and he had a thriving legal practice, he was always in Supreme Court fighting MPP cases, you could tell that this guy was a man for the future. It was very obvious that he really was a man for the future. And the way he related to people, I knew that if ever he wants to be president, he will have my vote.
Was that future fulfilling for you from what you said?
Well, many things happened, but all in all, I believe that posterity will judge Akufo-Addo positive. All in all, he may have made some mistakes, but after you look at it, and I treat it in this book, and I call him the most impactful politician of the Fourth Republic. I divide it into certain the reasons why I'm saying that. Mobilization, he was a politician of the Fourth Republic who did the biggest mobilization. Press freedom, he was a politician of the Fourth Republic who fought for press freedom the most. Parliamentary procedures, he was a politician of the Fourth Republic who's fought for this. The potential amendment of the Constitution in those days, he was the subsidiary legislation chairman in Parliament, where the vice president had conflicts with the president and they had wanted to change the constitution. He fought against it. The time he spent at the IEA giving lectures and developing the constitution, and eventually by 2016 he occasioned the biggest victory, and that is why I wasn't surprised that in 2016 he came up with the biggest victory of an opposition member in the history of the Fourth Republic. That history still stands because President Mahama came in 2024 as former president, and Akufo-Addo came in 2016 not as former president. So he still holds the record of having won the largest margin as an opposition candidate coming into the ballot. So yes, if you look at everything that he did, and his time as Attorney General was eventful. The repeal of criminal libel law we talk about was important. And I remember his disagreements with Akoto Ampao, may he rest in peace, because Akoto had filed a case in court on criminal libel for Kweku Baako and I believe Haruna Atta or so. And Akoto was confident that he was going to win the application because he had managed to convince the court that the criminal libel law was at direct variance with the provisions of Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution. Akoto was sure that he was going to win. Given the political atmosphere change in December 2000, Akoto was even more confident that he was going to win. Akoto wanted a ruling by the court to say that the criminal libel law was wrong. But Akufo-Addo said, no, we are taking a bill to Parliament to repeal it, Akoto. You're not going to have your day in court. We are repealing the law. Akoto was working from his law firm. He could have decided to take the credit and the glory, that Akoto file it, and then let's get the judgment for Akufo-Addo Prempeh. But he said, no, that's not important. Let us make it a national agenda. Ghana decides that we don't want. It's better than the court gives an opinion. Let's say Ghana decides that we don't want criminal libel. And then in July 2001, I was in Parliament. I was so proud when he moved the motion that the criminal libel law be repealed.
So those things he did prior to becoming president made a lot of people believe and trust that he could be one of the president to fight corruption. From where we sit today, when you look back, did he really win the battle against corruption?
It's a very important question. And during the campaign, I used to say to people, and no one probably listened, that Akufo-Addo has not been president for 4 years, from 2020 to 2024. Akufo-Addo has been president since 2017. And so if you look at the campaign of 2020, for instance, if you go now and say the campaign for 2020 elections, corruption was not on the agenda in 2020. Economy was not on the agenda in 2020. But that is because the economy that he managed from 2017 until 2020 appeared to be sacrosanct. And so if you look at the issues of the campaign, it was more about President Mahama promising Okada people that he would give them a license to work. It was more
lawyer. So this other day,
and that's Acha.
Oh, they didn't get attached photograph. So this is Justice Redu. Aban. Okay. This is Aqua. CJ. Georgina Wood. Georgina Wood, first woman since independence. Then we did woman, and Eniyebua. Then we came to woman again.
That's right.
Okay. All right. And now we have Justice. Okay, so we'll be talking about, when we start, we're talking about all of these people.
That's right.
So now we'll date.
Two things have been used against our party and want to clear it.
Okay.
That appointments to our superior courts have been by way of seniority. And that I will use Justice Bafo-Boni to himself.
We're sure.
Oh, yes. Miria, then I'll come to the appointment of the Chief Justices that has never been by seniority.
Okay, then you have a big job to do.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, viewers. That's just off the record. Now we are going to start. Okay, so take your seat. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the teaser. Tonight, we are getting back into the room of the Appointments Committee where Justice Bafo-Boni was vetted by the appointment committee, and all things being equal, Justice Bafo Boni will be sworn in as the 9th Chief Justice of the 4th Republic of Ghana. So we're going to look at that. Let's get onto the touch screen now. We start with some quick business. Lawyer Bafo is seated. He'll be ready to deal with it very soon. Okay, so our flyer generated quite a few comments. I like ladies to get some comments ready. So what did we write in the flyer? I don't know whether our guest has seen it. We wrote, Lord Justice Bafo Boni will be sworn in as the 9th Chief Justice of the 4th Republic, but he will not get to swear in any president. We look at everything that happened in Parliament, and you can't miss this. And we say that also the report about the infamous tragic helicopter accident. Join us at 9 o'clock. And people have been asking in the comments, why are we saying that he will not swear in any president? Tonight, all the answers will be given. Let's just go to the social media editors for two comments each. Let me begin with you, Fatih.
All right, thank you. So now this is coming from Maya, and it says, we are waiting patiently for this competent show to give its advice. Emmanuel Akpapa says, swearing in the president is not the only duty of the Chief Justice. There is a lot more to do. And lastly, coming from Ijisu, Alfred says, tomorrow is not promised. Besides, who knows, Tokono can go home without any benefits after serving this country for years. What do you first say?
All right, so this one is from Mr. G. He says, so what is the essence of appointing a CJ who won't even last for 3 years? Why do Africans see wisdom in older than the younger? It is well. Lastly, from Dawa, he says, we are patiently waiting for the competent ECOWAS court to give their ruling on the subject matter and see if the government will say otherwise. I wish both the petitioner and the respondents good luck. Indeed, democracy is working. All
right. So that's it. A lot coming up later tonight. Now, we want to talk about an interesting story, just the gist. Kutu Achampong, public lectures. I'm so delighted to have seen this on social media today. Finally, we're going to honor the man, and it has to do with what we do with our leaders. The propaganda and the vitriol against leaders that sometimes work. All the people who are my generation, those of you who are from 45 to 55, we were all told that Achampong was such a useless president. He used to refer to KNUST students as Kumasi Legon, and he didn't understand bar association. He thought that bar association meant people who are drinking alcohol. All kinds of things were said about Kutu Achampong. It turned out that on the reckoning, he's probably one of Ghana's best leaders. Achampong is probably one of Ghana's best leaders. Apologies to people like Lawyer Bafo who are worried that Achampong overthrew the MPP tradition of K.A. Buzia. Apologies to them. But Achampong stood out. Today, if we look at what happened in the past, Achampong is probably one of the best. So when I saw this, and congratulations to Dr. Bafo, who took out his pen to write out a book, Dr. Bafo Ajimandia, who took out his pen to write out a book about Achampong, which I got and I read, and he granted me an interview on the book review. Kutu Achampong Public Lectures, Unearthing the Legacy of Ghana's Forgotten Leader. I like this. This is where the country should be going. This is where we should start doing. I told you many years ago, Brigadier General Adams, he's still alive. I was young, I was in my teen. And Brigadier Adams told me that, look, Kweku, that's how he called me. Kweku, one day, we will mount a statue for Achampong in this country. He was an army officer. At that time, Adams was about a lieutenant colonel. He ended up as a brigadier general, very distinguished. He served Ghana in the mission in the US and all of that. And Brigadier Adams told me that one day, we will mount a statue for Achampong. One day. When I went to University of Ghana and I saw the annex buildings, Legon Hall Annex, Ekwafo Hall Annex, and Saba Hall Annex, they all look the same, very beautiful buildings. And we were told that Achampong who built. Achampong built El Wak Stadium. Achampong built many things. Achampong built Dansoman Estates. Achampong created Operation Feed Yourself. Ghana's longest sustainability in agriculture was created by Kutu Achampong. And yet the propaganda against him was that he doesn't know how to speak English. He was a womanizer. He ran down the economy. All kinds of things were said about this distinguished general of the Ghana Armed Forces. General, we salute you and we apologize. It won't happen again. Now, they're going to have lectures for Achampong. Let's read that very quickly, and then today we are very busy. It says here that in the annals of Ghanaian history, few leaders remain as enigmatic as General Ignatius Kutu Achampong, loved by many, misunderstood by some, and woefully misjudged by most. Achampong's legacy has been relegated to the shadows, overshadowed by the tumultuous politics of the past. But it is time to unearth the truth On November 25th, the Kutu Acheampong Foundation presents the inaugural General Kutu Acheampong Public Lectures, a timely opportunity to reevaluate the life and achievement of a man who helped in no mean measure to shape Ghana's contemporary history. It says, as the countdown begins for the inaugural General Kutu Acheampong Public Lecture Series, it is fitting to reflect, even if briefly, on the life and legacy of a man who played a pivotal role in shaping the country's contemporary history, and yet who happens to be the least heard about leaders in Ghana. The young army colonel who became Ghana's head of state from 72 to 78 has all too often been overlooked in Ghana's historical narrative, and despite his significant contributions to national development, his legacy has been relegated to footnotes of history. The reality, largely acknowledged through the benefit of hindsight, is that Acheampong's 6-year tenure as head of state was marked by bold initiatives that transformed Ghana's economy and infrastructure. His self-reliance policy, Operation Feed Yourself, aimed to boost agricultural production and reduce dependency on foreign aid. Landmark projects like the Pond Dam, the Tema motorway expansion, the Smith residential flats, the Dansoman estates, and the development of the country's telecommunications network all bear testament to Kutu's vision. While General Acheampong's rule was not without challenges and controversy, it is essential to acknowledge the complexities of his legacy. His government's efforts to promote local industries and reduce reliance on foreign aid were well-intentioned, even if the execution may have been flawed. Indeed, the fact that General Acheampong was largely forgotten in Ghana's history is a testament to the country's tumultuous past and the selective measure of historical memory. The time has come to unearth and reevaluate the contributions of this complex figure. According to the Kutu Acheampong Foundation, organizers of the lecture series, it aims to spark a nuanced discussion about Acheampong's history and the role of his leaders. The lecture provides a platform for scholars, policy influencers, and the general public to engage with Ghana's history and its implications for the future. By examining the past, we gain a deeper understanding of the present and build a more informed future. I just want to get to the person who is going to give the lecture. The inaugural edition of these lectures takes place on Tuesday, 25th, at the Conference Hall of the Institute of Statistical and Economic Research, ISA, the University of Ghana, Legon. This year's lecture will run under the theme Legacy, Leadership, and National Development's Rethinking Journey Through the Vision of Ike Acheampong. The topic, Abrewa and Ancestors Will Absolve Me, a reflection on General Acheampong from public memory and Ghana's leadership historiography, will be delivered by no mean a personality than the renowned traditional leader and scholar, Nana Kobnan Ketia, Paramount Chief of Esikadu Traditional Area, the President of the Western Regional House of Chiefs, and author of The African Culture in Governance. Nana Kobnan Ketia is an excellent scholar, and I definitely will be there. Good evening, Ghana will be there to listen to this. It's so important in our history that we portray Acheampong as who he is and what he was doing. This is a man who ruled Ghana for 6 years. He never traveled abroad. He bought the presidential jet. They used to call it the flying coffin. Acheampong bought that one. He never used it. He doesn't go abroad. He's always in Ghana. He did Operation Feed Yourself. In 6 years, he built Dansoman Estates. Look at the vast expanse of Dansoman Estates. When Acheampong built it, it was West Africa's largest estate. I think it still is. Acheampong developed the University of Ghana annexes. Acheampong expanded the motorway. Acheampong built the Smith flats in Dansoman. Acheampong built the Pond Dam. And yet they said he was useless. That's what propaganda can do. And that's why we should be very careful. We should be extremely careful about what propaganda can do. They said he can't speak English. I'm going to show you a video. And all that the people of my generation, when we first saw this video, said, is it not Acheampong? They said that he can't speak English. Is that Acheampong talking? Because that's what the people did. AFRC and all. That's what they all did. They all needed to give Acheampong a bad name and hang him. And the things Acheampong did for which he was killed, as for that one, we don't want to say it. The people who killed him, the things they have done in this country, it's okay. Today we are all, it's okay. That one, let's leave it for another day. We'll talk about it later. But rest in peace, Kutu Acheampong, beautiful general. This is Acheampong addressing the media in 1975. Listen.
We are not saying that those who contribute articles to foreign press are not patriotic. We are not saying that. At least you can earn some foreign exchange when you go on holidays, you go to a nice hotel and enjoy yourself. What we are saying is that don't destroy your country If you know what you are writing is wrong, don't do it, because you do your country more harm than good. And this is all the foreign press want. They don't want any developing country to come up to their standard. This you must accept. And once they can use you to destroy your own country, so much the better for them. But if any journalist continues, these people you are talking about, very soon I'll ask the Commissioner for International Affairs to read a gist of what, and the AG of what they have done. And you agree with me, some of them were given several warnings. The moment you give a warning, that warning appears on the TV, on the either BBC, or in the paper in overseas paper. So we are saying that you are free to write whatever you want to. You can criticize the government, then we will set up. But don't destroy. See, when you know what you are writing is wrong, it isn't true, and it's meant to subvert, to create disaffection, to create confusion in the country, then you are doing more harm than good. Because if the country collapses, you are within it. It doesn't collapse for me or for the colleagues. All of us are inside, just like people traveling on a ship. If the ship sinks, we all sink. The ship sinks, we all sink with it. This is what most of them don't understand. They think they are outside the government. The government is a separate entity somewhere. If it is destroyed, fine.
Do you understand governance? Is that a man calling the media to be patriotic? We'll all be at the Kutu Acheampong lecture. What date is it again? I believe is November, 25th November. Yes, 25th of November, we'll all be there. Congratulations, General. We'll celebrate you and we'll build a monument for you. All right, over there in Angola, the African country that had been at war for many, many years, the war between Eduardo dos Santos, who eventually won it for the NPLA, and Jonas Savimbi, who was one of my favorite names in news broadcast when we were growing up. Jonas Savimbi was the leader of a group called UNITA. UNITA and the MPLA fought for the Angolan soul, and the MPLA eventually won. UNITA was right-wing, the MPLA was left-wing. The MPLA won the war, and Eduardo dos Santos became the leader. Eduardo dos Santos has handed over power to another person. The MPLA is still in power in Angola. Today, Angola turned 50 years, and guess who was the guest of honor? Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo. There you have it. There he is over here. He was a guest of honor, special guest of honor for the Angolan Independence Day. With him as his entourage, Asumeni, former National Security Boss, Fawaz, former Deputy Chief of Staff, His Excellency the former President Nana Akufo-Addo, Nite Kutego, and Gabi Ochiri Dako. They were all there in Angola. That's the president being welcomed by the Angolan president. And oh, there you are. They had a nice chat. Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo over there in Angola. He visited the Angolan president, and they had interaction. And thereafter, this is Angolan First Lady, I believe, also shaking hands with the president. And that's the president's team that went with him, including Asumeni, former National Security, Fawaz, Gabi Ochiri Dako, and Nite Kutego. There is the team there, I believe, at the event. I don't know whether these are some of the Dos Santos family members, but this is Angola's Independence Day. 50 years of Angolan independence, I believe, from Portugal, won 50 years ago. And the special guest of honor was former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I think that's a good feather in the cap of Ghana. The Angolan flag lifted over there. Viewers who like football remember the 2010 African Cup of Nations hosted in Angola. The Black Stars were in the grand final, and I believe were beaten by the Pharaohs of Egypt. The glory days of Asamoah Gyan was in Angola in 2010. Here is the entourage descending the stairs, and Akufo-Addo is signing something. 50 Años de Independencia, I think it means 50 years of independence. And he's writing something there. That's the Angolan, I don't know whether it's the Independence Square, but it looks quite beautiful. Where is Wodamaya? Was he there to film it for us? I don't know. Okay, so that's something of a good news, just one of our gist at the beginning of the show. That's it. That's the Angolan experience for President Akufo-Addo, who was there as the special guest of honor. Beautiful Angolan cultural display. Yeah, look good, look nice. Oh, I like the military. You know me, I like everything military, everything media, and everything law. Those are my three passions: military, media, law, Asante Kotoko, and Manchester United. We'll have a sports story later on after Lawyer Balfour has taken us deep into the law. Now, though, let's go now straight to Parliament. And I'd like you to watch this video. Alexander Afenyo-Markin making his opening remarks yesterday at the vetting of the 9th Chief Justice nominee for the Republic of Ghana. His Lordship, Mr. Justice Bafo-Boni, presented himself to Parliament yesterday for hearing by the Appointments Committee pursuant to the provisions of the 1992 Constitution and the Standing Orders of Parliament. The Minority Leader is always the ranking member of the Appointments Committee, and the First Deputy Speaker is always the Chairman of the Appointments Committee. These days, by the new Standing Orders, relevant committee members are allowed to also ask questions of the nominee. So in this occasion, given that it was Chief Justice, the Judicial Committee, I believe the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee, and the Subsidiary Legislation Committee were all there to support. But something happened, and the minority walked out. But here is Alexander Markin's crucial opening remarks. This is what he said.
Let me respond to my respected colleague, the Majority Leader. Chairman, it is his contention. It is his contention that my reference to the committee's work amount to attacking the conduct of its chair. With the greatest respect, I need to be listened to, and he has to pay attention to language as used in context. For the avoidance of doubt, I am repeating that the minority holds the view that the committee's work resulting in the removal of Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, amount to travesty of justice. It is a view we hold. It does not offend Order 1237. Order 1237, with avoidance of doubt, provides the conduct of the Speaker, the Chief Justice, members of Parliament, the Chief Justice, and Superior Court Justice of Judicature shall not be raised in Parliament except a substantive motion. Now, the distinction must be made. Respected Ayarga, please, bear with me. I've listened to you. The distinctions must be made. Your work in the regular official duties and a critique thereto must be distinguished from personal conduct that one would consider as misbehavior or stated misbehavior. I am not, with the greatest respect, impugning the person of the reputation of my Lord Poaman, who I voted for under the influence of Honorable K.T. Amon. When all the odds were against him, I have nothing personal against him. Because even where there were personal issues that people were attacking his reputation, I was one of the few who stood.
Mr. Chairman.
So I'm not here to attack him.
Mr. Chairman.
And he knows I won't attack him. The caucus is talking about, please, Honorable Ayerga, let me finish. You were allowed to make your point.
Yes, but Honorable Minority Leader, just be brief.
Very well. The committee's work is what we are expressing an opinion on. And we are using very civil language to say that what it did amount to travesty of justice. It's as simple as that. So let me proceed. Chairman, unless the Majority Leader intends to frustrate everything that the minority has to say by way of its opinion, when did Parliament reduce to this? Where you have the right to say your own, you are the leader of the House. You have unfettered right to rebut. That is the debate we even have on the floor. When there is a debate, you take note. Where you think you disagree, when it gets your turn, you should also say that the committee's work did not amount to travesty of justice. Simplicity. But this issue of one line Point of order. Next line, you are marking. Don't say this. Don't say that. Where are we heading to? The judiciary criticizes the government and members of the public where they disagree in their ruling. We
Honorable Minority Leader, kindly conclude for me.
The work of even their
conclude for me. Conclude for me.
I beg you, leader.
Conclude.
We all agree, Chairman. You
conclude.
know.
Conclude.
Right.
Lawyer, you were in the room. What happened?
Good evening to your viewers. Yesterday, we had gone to do the vetting of the Chief Justice nominee, Justice Paul Bafoboni. By way of practice, the minority leader, who is the ranking of the appointments committee, was making an introductory remark. The majority leader then decides that for every sentence he utters, for which he finds a problem with, he will then object to it. And for the speaker, for the chairman of the appointments committee, that is the first deputy speaker who was presiding over the committee, to then make a ruling or take a position. In some instances, he didn't rule. In some instances, he ruled. And so what happened basically was very frustrating. You know, by way of practice, for all committee meetings in Parliament, at the commencement, introductory remarks are made by the person presiding and then the ranking member. And so it was exactly what the Honorable Minority Leader was doing. But it appears that it rubbed the Majority Leader and the Majority Chief Whip the wrong way, for which reason they kept objecting. You see, basically, until he uttered or read what he was saying, you definitely wouldn't know what he was going to say.
How he was going to land.
And how he was going to land. Therefore, what is mostly done is for you to wait till he finishes what he's saying, and then whatever portion of it you have a problem with, you would state it in an objection, and then there will be a ruling which will expunge those portions if they are so upheld by the person presiding, that is the chair. But in this instance, you could tell that the majority leader was not ready to accommodate the minority leader, to the extent that he said, I will not allow you to breach a single rule.
Yeah, but that was fair, wasn't it? Should he allow him to breach a rule?
It's fair, but allow him to finish. When he finishes and you object to it and your objection is upheld, the portions of it which you find offensive will be expunged.
There was a view about the minority leader's propositions that he was re-arguing a motion that had failed in the House, where he had sent a motion and the Speaker had objected to the motion that the vetting should be called off. So I think the battle lines had been drawn before, and it was thought that he was re-arguing that motion because now he knew that the whole nation was watching.
That was completely off the mark. Motions are basically requests that you make to the Speaker, and then the Speaker will rule on it, whether to grant your request or not. Introductory remarks, they are not requests.
But he seemed to be saying the same things in the motion about the illegality or the wrongfulness of the removal of Gertrude Tokon.
If it was wrong and the Speaker, the chairman, found it offensive, at the end of the day, you expunge it from the record. Their challenge has been they wouldn't want it to be captured in the Hansard. The events, they don't want it to be captured in the Hansard. Otherwise, who doesn't know what has happened to Justice Tokonu in this country? The copious public commentary that has been made on it. Everybody, is a matter of public notoriety. And so by reading it, right, will not change what the public already knows. Their main issue had to do with the facts getting into the Hansard. Then it becomes a record of Parliament, which...
So at the end of the day, what happened? Is it in the Hansard? Has it been expunged?
portions of it which were expunged will not be in the Hansard. But those that were not expunged will be.
Who makes the decision about what's to be in the Hansard and what not?
It is the chair.
The chair of the committee?
The chair of the committee. Once there is an objection and the chair rules that this should be expunged from the record.
Then that is it?
Then that is it.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The whole matter, the whole conversation had been that during the talk or no process, that some people who were neutral, they didn't really care about judicial matters, had been told that Tokonu was jumped over so many people, 11 people or so, to become the Chief Justice. And such Ghanaians felt that they felt a bit of unfairness in the whole thing, that if it is true that the lady was jumped all the way and that she has actually a lot of time before she's 70, why couldn't Akufo-Addo waited for her to be Chief Justice later if it's true that she's that good? Some people have that sentiment. But you have been telling me today, I'm going to show you on the touch screen, that Tokonu will not be the first. And in fact, there are no other people in the Fourth Republic who have come to the Chief Justice by seniority, save perhaps Justice Bafo-Boni now. So can we do that now?
Okay. So Paul, there are two issues that have been used against the New Patriotic Party, particularly the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration, as far as the judiciary is concerned. The first one being that we failed to appoint senior-most judges of the Supreme Court as Chief Justice. And the second one being that we bypassed senior-most judges in our appointments to the Superior Court of Judicature, being the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. And that seemed to have gained so much currency to the extent that people thought that we were trying to manipulate the court so that they would stand behind us. The record would clearly show that it is not founded. And that's the first one that we are going to do tonight has to do with the appointment of the justice, the Chief Justice. In the year 1991,
before the 92 Constitution.
Before the 1992 Constitution, the government that gave birth to the National Democratic Congress, that is the People's National Defense Council. Provisional National Defense Council, the PNDC. Contemplating a possible transition, knew that Justice Adade was being the acting Chief Justice at the time. He had been acting for 6 months. When Justice Sowa went on retirement. Had been
acting as the senior most.
He was the senior most judge of the court, and he was the acting Chief Justice at the time.
Correct.
And so that was we were at the caps of the transition from military rule to civilian rule. And at the time, Justice Adade was the senior most judge and the acting Chief Justice. He acted for 6 months. And so one would have anticipated that if the seniority rule, which has been pushed so hard by our friends on the underside, that is the NDC, was to hold sway, then Justice Adade was going to be the Chief Justice, right?
Yes.
Now, instead of making Justice Adade the Chief Justice per their seniority rule, the PNDC went for Justice Archer, who was at the time on retirement.
At home.
At home.
Finished his work.
Finished his work, had retired at the age of 65 or so, and had gone home, right? So they decided that none of the justices of the Supreme Court at the time, be Justice Adade, be Justice Akins,
from Benjamin,
all those that were there, they decided that none of them should be Chief Justice. They then went for a judge who had gone on retirement to be made the Chief Justice of the Republic, and that was Justice Archer.
Okay, please get me 1992 swearing in. Philip Archer is in there. We don't have his photograph here. I want people to see his video. 1992 swearing in. Terry Cassett. Yeah, please go on. Please go on. Please go on.
So, Justice
Philip Archer came in.
Philip Archer comes in. In 1995, Philip Archer goes on retirement. Guess who is made the Chief Justice? Right? It was none of the judges who were there at the time. They went for a certain Justice Aban.
There he is.
Justice Aban, yes. Justice Aban was a High Court judge.
So the NDC appointed Chief Justice 1 and Chief Justice 2 of the 9.
Of the 9.
And this is the third time they're appointed.
That's right.
Okay.
So
it's not the case that the NDC have never appointed a Chief Justice. Okay.
No. So this is Justice Aban.
Yeah.
The NDC might say that at the time Acha was appointed, it was the PNDC and not the NDC.
Yes, fair
But
enough.
it's one and the same.
But it was the same president. It was
Of
Rawlings.
course,
Yeah.
President Rawlings. Now, Justice Aban was a High Court judge appointed to be the electoral commissioner of this country.
Yes.
He was the electoral commissioner that saw to the organization of the union government elections by 78 by the Kutu Echampo administration. He went into hiding. Subsequently, he became the Chief Justice of Seychelles. When Justice Archer went on retirement,
Adade was still there.
Adade was there. Ekins was also there.
And they said no.
They said no.
They brought in Aban.
They brought in Aban and made Aban the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana.
Aban was quite distinguished, wasn't he?
He was, but Adade was equally distinguished.
Well, Adade had been Attorney General, so
Attorney
perhaps
General,
leader of the bar.
a very distinguished legal practitioner.
But he was very MPP Adade.
At the time, there was no MPP. There was UP.
Well, I mean, he was UP, yeah.
Don't forget that there were people from the UP stock who were also part of the NDC.
Yes, very much.
The likes of A.A. Munufie and Co.
Alhaji Mama
Idrisu. They were all from our stock.
Justice D.F. Anand.
And so it wouldn't have been strange to make Adade the Chief Justice.
Absolutely.
Now, Ekins, Justice Ekins, was not of our stock necessarily.
He was the PNDC's Attorney
He
General.
was the PNDC's Attorney General.
At the time the judges were killed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Ekins wasn't made the CJ. Wasn't made the Chief
And he was on the court.
And he was on the court. They went for Justice Aban, who had returned as the Chief Justice of Seychelles. And so, Justice Aban at the time was not the senior most judge of the Supreme Court.
When he was made the Chief Justice.
When he was made the Chief Justice.
Then what happened after that?
Then came Justice Redu. At the time,
Redu appointed by John Kufuor, isn't it?
By President John Kufuor.
Kufuor inherited Aban.
Yes.
Kept him.
Kept him.
And then Aban retired.
That's right. President Kufuor never removed Justice Aban.
No, he didn't.
Don't forget that one of the key constituencies, traditionally, of the MPP have been lawyers.
Yes.
And lawyers, some of the lawyers from our stock were not happy with Aban.
They went to court.
They went to court.
Yeah.
Ghana Bar Association versus Attorney General. They went to court. When they went to court, right, they did not succeed. When President Kufuor took office, he didn't say that some of my people don't like Aban. He kept Aban.
So let's do 146 and take him out.
Exactly. He kept Aban.
Yeah, he did.
He maintained Aban.
Yeah.
When he maintained Aban, Aban fell ill. And subsequently,
retired.
He was called into eternity.
Yeah.
When he was called into eternity, President Kufuor then decided to...
Oh, Aban died before Redu was appointed. Oh, so Aban died as Chief Justice.
Aban died as Chief Justice.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I stand to be corrected.
I think
he died.
But he swore in President Kufuor.
He swore in President Kufuor.
And he was very ill that day.
He was very ill.
He was very, very ill.
So I stand to be corrected, but I think he died as Chief Justice. But he was not removed. That is one fact which is established.
Okay.
Notwithstanding the differences.
Okay.
Now, this is Justice Redu. Justice Redu, at the time he was appointed Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, right, had other senior most judges of the court.
At the court.
At the court. At the time, Justice Pegan was there.
Senior to Redu.
Senior to Redu. Right? There were other judges, like Bamfordado.
Joyce Bamfordado.
Joyce Bamfordado.
Yeah.
They were all there. But they never complained.
So there came Redu.
There came Redu.
And then?
Justice Aqua.
Redu fell ill, wasn't it?
Redu fell ill.
Okay.
Yes. Justice Aqua became Chief Justice.
He was quite junior to them.
He was quite junior to a lot of the judges of the court.
Yeah.
There was...
there were so many of them.
There were so many of them. Let me refresh my memory.
I believe Pegan was still there.
Pegan was there.
Yeah, Pegan was still there.
Pegan was there. Bamfordado was there.
Yeah.
You know, all these judges were there.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Justice Aqua.
Atuguba
was there.
Yeah.
Sophia Kufu was there.
Yes.
They were
They
all
overlooked all of them. Went straight for Aqua. Kingsley Aqua. From Adisadel.
So, one fundamental fact, no dispute, was that he was not the senior most judge or justice of the Supreme Court. That is an undisputable or undisputed fact.
Okay. Let's move on. Then came first female.
Exactly. As for Georgina Wood, there were a lot of seniors at the time. Justice Pregan
he was there. He was quite upset.
He was quite upset.
Remember that?
Upset. Yeah. Yes. Even I think at the time,
there were so many.
Justice Brobe had gone on secondment.
Yeah, Atukuba was still there.
They were all there. Sophia Kufu was there.
They were there.
Sophia Kufu went there in 1995.
Yes.
Atukuba went there in 1995. Sophia Kufu, Justice Georgina Wood went there after the MV Benjamin matter, where she chaired.
Oh, that's 2008.
2007.
No. 2007.
Exactly.
Was she a Court of Appeal judge?
At the time, she was a court. Yes, at the time, during the MV Benjamin, she was a Court of Appeal judge.
So within 1 year of being a Court of Appeal judge, she was Chief Justice.
No, it wasn't within 1 year.
No,
I'm sure she had gone there before 2007.
Okay, so she was a Supreme Court judge.
She was a Court of Appeal judge when she did the MV Benjamin.
So she must have gone to the Supreme Court in 2007.
2007.
And within 1 year of that, she was Chief Justice.
She was Chief Justice.
Oh, that's remarkable.
Exactly. So it has never been the case that the senior-most justice of the Supreme Court is appointed the Chief Justice. It has never.
Georgina Wood was remarkable.
Georgina Wood.
And she was the longest so far?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was the longest. I mean, I suspect
from 08 to 17.
I even suspect she met Julius Ansah there.
Yes, most likely.
Yes.
Most likely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She met Julius Ansah
because Julius Ansah was in some of the reported cases by Vimpom Buta, which is MPP and GBC.
She must have even met. She must have even met Dateba there.
Oh, most likely. Dateba, Modibo Okran, and Kluje. These were senior people.
Exactly.
Very senior people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yet President Kufuor settled on her as the Chief Justice, confirming that it has never in this Fourth Republic, predating the MPP,
been about the senior most. Okay. Next is Sophia Kufu.
Justice Sophia Kufu. At the time, she, I think Justice Atuguba was senior to her.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Nevertheless, Justice Atuguba wasn't appointed. She was the one appointed.
Then came His Lordship Justice
Enini Yeboah. Justice Doche was senior to Justice Enini Yeboah.
And Julius Ansah was
Julius Ansah too was senior to Justice Enini Yeboah. But Enini Yeboah was appointed. So it's never been.
Then it's so this was the problem.
This was the problem.
So they're saying Tokonu has come from behind. Was neither here nor there.
Neither here.
It was actually in keeping with the tradition.
In keeping with the tradition.
That's interesting. But they didn't quite name that as one of Tokonu's sins anyway in the petition.
They wouldn't say that because they know that is not the ground of removal. That's not part of the grounds of removal. And so there has always been that commentary that we bypassed a lot of seniors.
As MPP.
The MPP bypassed a lot of seniors to appoint Justice Gertrude Tokonu. It is not the case. But there's something we need to understand. At any given time, out of the many justices of the Supreme Court, there can be only one Chief Justice. Okay.
But shouldn't we do it by seniority?
I am of the view that it should be by seniority.
Yeah.
However, there's the risk. You see,
what happens in America, though? Do you know?
America, I'm not too sure.
The president appoints.
I think the president.
But in America, the Chief Justice is there till he dies.
There till he dies.
Okay.
Yes. But Paul,
can you just check what happens in the United States, and then we can get it? Yeah.
By appointment.
Yeah, by appointment. But is it the senior most? That's the question.
Is it by senior most? No.
He'll tell us.
It's not by the senior most. It's not by the senior most. Paul. Yes. It's appointment. It's not by the senior most. Paul. Now, this is it. We need to appreciate that at any given time, there will be just one person who will be appointed the Chief Justice. And we must accept it. Otherwise, it's going to be chaotic. If you say that the senior most should be the Chief Justice, the position of the Chief Justice is leadership.
It is. And please get me the list of the current Chief Justices so we can go through the senior most and just have a last minute conversation on that. The list of Chief Justices.
It's leadership.
Of Supreme Court judges, sorry.
It's leadership. It's leadership. And the senior most at a particular time may not have the required leadership qualities. Not all of us are leaders.
But who is making that determination? Only the president, the politically elected president?
Because if you say the senior most, then the president wouldn't have to appoint.
Yeah, by the parliament he has to. Oh, I get the point that the Constitution put it that way because they do not contemplate that it will be automatic.
That's right.
That the president will have to exercise his discretion
to decide,
to make a decision.
That
I get the point you're making.
Within the context of the times and the circumstance at a particular period, who is best fit.
So if the president feels the senior most, fair enough.
Yes.
So the Constitution, by its provisions, has allowed the president to go outside any set rules.
That's right.
He can pick a person from the Ghana Bar Association, isn't it?
It happened under the Second Republic, when Justice Bannerman was picked from the bar
straight to
be Chief Justice.
Oh, I see. He just had to pass the qualification of how many years he's done at the bar.
Exactly. It's happened before. And so one of the sins, or one of the supposed sins of the NPP as far as the judiciary is concerned, was that we appointed Tokonu, Justice Tokonu, who had a lot of seniors, right, ahead of her. But clearly,
the record doesn't show that.
The record doesn't show that.
Yes, Justice Eneyeboa. Maybe President Mahama wants to begin from now. Eneyeboa is the senior most. He's there. Sorry, Justice Bafuboni. Sorry, Justice Bafuboni is the senior most. He's there. Do you have the chief, the Supreme Court judges, so that I can just look at it and then we can go through this? Okay, they're working on it. Will come. So this Justice Bafuboni, he told Parliament yesterday that he's the senior most. He's 17 years at the Supreme Court. No particular issues from the bar. The bar didn't seem to be upset about it.
No.
I saw former bar president Tony Forson supporting.
Well, I doubt if there is any basis for the bar to object.
Yeah.
I doubt.
Yeah.
However, it's important the records are set straight so that we are all clear in our minds. You know, a lot of these events preceded a lot of people. Bear in mind, the child that was born in the year 2001, when President Rawlings ceased to be president of the Republic of Ghana, is now 24 years. And so some of these things, the person might not know. Unless you do one of your touch screens, that person might not know.
And could have voted twice. Could have voted at 18 and has voted again at 22.
22.
And probably voted again 24.
24. You understand? Yeah. And so when...
He doesn't know anything about Rawlings being president.
Exactly. And so when people keep on drumming home the false narrative that someone who is the senior most, a justice who is the senior most, should be appointed a chief justice, and that we are trying to, the MPP is trying to manipulate the court so that the court stands by it, that is also not correct. And so that person may buy into it. Another thing is that, Paul, in this country, look, and it stands to reason, the judiciary will always back the government in power.
What does that mean?
It means that, look, and it stands to reason, Paul, you wouldn't want the judiciary to put fetters in the way of the government in power.
Relating to policy?
Relating to policy.
Relating to constitutional interpretation?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying that, for instance, you apply to seek an injunctive order against the government of the day in performing, for instance, a constitutional duty. The court will tell you no.
Absolutely no, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. That's correct.
Somebody sitting outside might say, the court is in favor or is in support of the government.
It doesn't mean so.
It doesn't mean so.
Okay.
So we need to appreciate that by the nature of our constitution, there are instances where the court will tilt a little towards the government in power.
For policy's sake.
For policy's sake.
Good governance.
Yes, I'll give you an example. One of the allegations that were made against Justice Tokonu was delay in fixing dates or scheduling hearings of cases filed by the NDC. Right? That was one of the major allegations. Today, we are experiencing it.
How?
There are cases, for instance, that we have filed against the government, right? They delay in filing their statement of case, okay? For which reason we apply to set the matter down for hearing. When you apply to set the matter down for hearing, the court will say, date to be fixed. Right? So you don't know when the date is going to be fixed until you keep following up, okay?
And that's good?
I'm saying that these are things that were allegations that were made against Justice Tokonu, but some of them are happening today. Do you remember that for instance, Sam George, he kept saying that the anti-LGBTQ case before Justice Tokonu has failed to fix it for a hearing.
Yeah.
If you recall.
Because she was supporting Akufo-Addo.
Today, I can tell you, for instance, that the case that Henry Nana Boakye filed against the Attorney General in respect of the mass dismissal case, the mass dismissal which was made upon the instructions or the authority of the Chief of Staff, right? The Attorney General took forever to file a statement of case. When we went to court, right, for a hearing, so that the matter would be set down for a hearing, right, the Chief Justice didn't give us a set date.
Till now?
It took about a month or two.
You have a date now?
We've gone to court. It was when we went to court that the Attorney General came to say he's asking for an extension of time.
To file his responses.
Today, the cases involving Justice Tokonu, right? Yesterday, if you heard the minority leader, they have been delayed. And so they are no news. They happen under every dispensation.
Let's look at this as before we go to sit down and take another topic. So viewers, if you have been following us, Lawyer Bafo has been concerned that there's been anti-NPP propaganda against his party's Member of Parliament for Mensah North, Mensah South. And he's been concerned that there's been a narrative that the NPP administration, especially under Nana Akufo-Addo, appointed judges as chief justices who were not due, and therefore they were appointing judges who do their bidding. He has demonstrated on the touchscreen that the history of the Fourth Republic, all the 9 justices who were appointed, none of them was the senior most at the time of being appointed. And the video will be on demand for you to see. Now we're going on to a different topic. This is interesting. If we have to go by what we are saying now, and I think President Mahama has committed himself to it, so we now have Justice Paul Bafo-Boni. So viewers, our next Chief Justice will be Justice Gabriel Poaman. Now, Justice Bafo-Boni retires next year, I understand.
Next year, yes.
12 months from now.
12 months from
He's
now.
gone.
He's gone.
So Justice Gabriel Poaman is our next Chief Justice. Congratulations to him. Next Chief Justice will be Justice Avril Lovelace Johnson. If she's still there.
If she's, yes,
will she be there?
I should think so.
Okay, so it's Poaman, then Lovelace Johnson. And then the next one is Amadou Tanko might be gone.
I'm not too sure of his age.
I'm guessing that by the time it gets to Lovelace, Amadou Tanko might be gone. And then after Lovelace Johnson, if Amadou Tanko is there, it will be Amadou Tanko. If Amadou, is Justice Kulendi later than Henrietta Mensah Bonsu? Producer, are you sure about that? 24th May.
2 days.
Oh, 2 days difference. That matters.
Yes, it matters.
Oh, but the president made an appointment today, and
That's right.
2 days later made another one.
That's right. It matters.
But did they go to Parliament at the same time?
It doesn't matter when they went to Parliament.
But when is the appointment made?
It matters when they were sworn in.
So the swearing in is the beginning of the
that
work.
Makes the difference.
And they were sworn in 2 days apart?
Exactly. You see,
Really?
Justice Doche and Justice Anini Abua, they were sworn in the same year. But one, I think there's a day difference between the two.
So that's senior most?
That's senior most.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's what makes Justice.
So then next, if she's still there, will be Professor Justice Henrietta Mensah Bonsu.
That's right.
Next, if he will be there, 62 or 63. Justice Yoni Kulendi will be next. And then there's Adibu Asiedu. And then there's George Kingsley Kumsin, who I'm guessing might not be there. And then when I say might not be there, might be there, viewers, please understand me. I mean that they may 1070. Don't interpret it another way. When I say they might not be there, it means that when you turn 70, you go. So if the person there is ahead of you, senior to you, the person can be younger and be senior. So the person is senior to you but younger, and you turn 70, then you go. That's what I mean. I do not mean that they will have passed to eternal glory. I can't determine that. Okay, and then His Lordship Justice Yao Jehu, Henry Kofi, Yao Dakwasare. So any judge appointed after this is coming to the back.
That's right.
Whoa.
So, Bapo, bear this in mind.
So there is a judge all the way down.
Yes.
14.
Bear this in mind. Someone might be intelligent, but he might not be a leader.
And somebody at number 16 might be a great leader.
Might be a great leader.
Yeah.
And so that is the essence of the discretion under Article 144.
Absolutely, I get it.
That gives you the discretion to make a decision that within the circumstance of the time, who is best fit to be the Chief Justice.
Given the applause that Dennis got at his vetting, I'm guessing that if he has the Bar Association next Chief Justice, they may point to him.
So, Sir Dennis Ejei.
Yeah.
You know, there's something.
Why is he so popular among barristers?
He's a very brilliant judge.
Oh, I see.
And look, Sir Dennis Ejei across the country has chaired a lot of committees.
I see.
And, you know, he's a workaholic.
Okay.
He's a workaholic. Sir Dennis Ejei may be teaching at Gempa. He may be chairing a committee at University of Education, Winneba. He may be chairing a committee that probes some, you know, controversy.
He likes the law.
He likes the law. He likes to work. And so, for instance, at a given time, if you say, you have a certain vision as a president, and you think that you need a CJ that would help in achieving that vision, and you say, amongst this lot, who best fit? Who is best fit for that purpose? And you think it's Sir Dennis Ejei, or you think it's Justice Senyo Jemepe, or you think it's Justice Kulendi. Then you say that because you are going by a certain seniority rule, which is never the case, you deny yourself the opportunity to work with somebody who is,
brilliant leadership and all that. I get the point. This is going to be an interesting debate as the week goes down. But if you ask me to vote, I'll vote for Yoni Kulendi, of course.
I know. Justice Kulendi is another brilliant judge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having administered one of the biggest law firms in Ghana.
I think among all these people, Kulendi is the most successful practitioner.
Well,
I mean, it's controversial. You cannot say that.
I cannot say that.
You are the bar. I can say that.
Yes,
I'm media. I think Yoni Kulendi has had a very successful practice. Yeah, I see. That's interesting. So if that's so, this is the way we are going to go.
Justice Kwame also had a very good land law practice.
Okay, I'm too young to know that.
Yes, he was.
I know him from CPP. He used to appear on Good Evening
PNC.
He's a PNC. He used to be the general secretary.
He used to also appear on Talking Point.
Yes. But I interviewed him many times. He's a very interesting guy. I've forgotten his football team, but we used to talk about football in those days. So we're going to Poaman, which I think we should. He's paid his dues. Then we're going to Lovelace Johnson, another lady. That would be nice. Then we have Amadou Tanko, who I'm guessing would have left at the time.
Yeah.
Then there's Professor Henrietta Mensah, so academia will be excited to see that.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. So this is going to be very interesting.
So the fact is that it's never been by the senior most.
And nobody should blame or attribute political connotations to it. No. Okay, I think your point is well made. We'll get the text messages and see what people are saying. Let's go to the Vandals charging, and then we'll resume our seats if you have it ready. Let's hear it from Commonwealth Hall. Oh, they don't have it. Okay, what do you have? Okay, now let's take the text messages. So let's start with Ella. Ella, what are people saying?
We are really excited about the discussion that is happening in the studio today. And this one is from Mohammed. He says, Apostle Paul, good evening. It is a privilege hearing the ranking member on Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee, Nana Ejei Bafo, educating some Ghanaians on their wrong perception notion that the Chief Justice appointment is based on the number of years one served in the Supreme Court of Ghana. I am absolutely delighted for the great mind that is educating and setting the record straight tonight. Indeed, the record has been set straight. Yusuf says, one of the most educative political talk shows for the past 25 years. Please ask him what is the real legal reasons why the minority has first rejected the CJ nominee. Paulos, please find out from the lawyer about Honorable Patrick's behavior when the caucus decided to boycott the proceedings. Yeah, February says that it is not entrenched in the Constitution for the President to appoint a Chief Justice after the amount of time or based on the amount of Supreme Court judges. So it will be unthinkable for the seniors among the Supreme Court judges to dislike or have hatred for President Nana Addo for appointing a junior over them as Chief Justice and go to the extent of ganging up to assist President Mahama to remove said Chief Justice. But Bubakar says that MPP needs to improve their communication. We allow people to spew propaganda and blind the people. These explanations make so much sense and is evidence-based. The babies with sharp teeth do not know the history, so they are quick to do propaganda. They would never come to a qualitative program like this. Nixon says, good evening, Apostle Paul. The notion that Madam Gertrude was appointed over the senior-most judges at the Supreme Court is a ploy to get her out for their political agenda to be accomplished. The NDC had this as a campaign promise and were hell-bent to see through that promise. Madame Tokono was unfortunate to fall in that equation. Citizen Thomas says, Apostle, in all seriousness, the nomination has to be withdrawn with the speed of light. Just look at a person and you just looked at a person and condemned him because of your personal feelings. And this is one who claims that prisons are for correction. Interesting. Lastly, we have from Samuel. He says, we are kind of mixed feeling citizens. That is, when our leaders are performing well when they are alive, we condemn and disrespect them. But after their terms of office come to end, we begin to miss their responsiveness and wish they would have stayed. We even went so far as to dishonor them. This kind of mixed feelings is not making our country develop. This has been the plight of the citizens of Ghana. Record has now disintegrated His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa, who did well in developing the average Ghanaian, the person, the woman, and the family, socio-economically. Yet we saw him as a bad leader. Paul, it's high time we change our attitude and have foresightedness for a right sense of supporting those leaders who perform better. Over to you, Fatih.
All right, thank you, Ella. Your February here says Justice Poorman is the next senior Supreme Court judge after the Chief Justice nominee. Therefore, Justice Poorman will be the next Chief Justice after the approval and sworn in the acting Chief Justice, Paul Bafoboni, as Chief Justice if President Mahama and his cabinet is going to be appointing seniority as Chief Justice. Kingsley sees very educational program by all standards. Ayaga's disruptive nature was needless, as if he had personal issues with Afenyo. The chairman was rightly seated by you and will object same if he had to. Ayaga's consistent interruptions just rendered the chairman of the committee useless unless the chairman himself was enjoying Ayaga's softballing. However, people are watching, so the chairman should be fair. Ishaq says, I believe the senior most should be made the CJ, but in an instance where we have more than one senior most, the president can make a determination and appoint one of them. We cannot say a judge who has risen to a senior most position in the legal structure can't handle or do not have leadership role as the CJ. Nixon Asian says, the notion that Madam Gertrude Tokono was appointed over the senior most justice at the Apex Court is just a ploy to get her out of her political agenda to be accomplished. World Link says the Constitution of Ghana is like the Bible. Nothing can be omitted or added to it, and that is why Ghana is suffering. In Germany, day in, day out, amendments are made to their constitution, not like what we are doing in Ghana. Maud Annie says it was during J.J. Rawlings' regime that General Kutu Champon and co were killed by firing squad. Kofi Dancer says, good to hear. Kutu Champon was one of the best presidents in Ghana. So sad. Coming from Techiwai says, the statement by a Champon is true. When a government is in power, the rest of the citizens think and feel they are not part of the country because they are not part of the government in power. And this is justified by the way our constitution is crafted. Winner takes all. And lastly, coming from Seth Echado, he says, I have read the book on General Champon and will encourage you to read, and you will appreciate the evil of propaganda then. Now back to you, Paul.
All right, thank you very much. Many of our viewers enjoying the conversation. And one sends me something from AI. I believe it's ChatGTP, says that the Chief Justice of the United States is not chosen by seniority. The U.S. President nominates the Chief Justice. The Senate must confirm the nominee. The nominee can be current justice or someone from outside the court. Prior service as a justice is not required. Federal law sets the court as one Chief Justice plus 8 associate justices and does not impose a seniority rule for the Chief Justice. L. Warren was appointed Chief Justice in 1953 while serving as the governor of California. He was not a sitting justice. Justice G. Roberts Jr. was nominated and confirmed directly as Chief Justice in 2005. His earlier associate justice nomination was withdrawn. Constitutional basis, the appointment clause, Article 2, Section 2, governs these nominations. So it's clarified, lawyer, that the Chief Justice of America is not appointment. It doesn't necessarily. International Human and People's Rights Law and Practice. Dennis Dominic AJ. Oh, okay. So, somebody sends me the book, a very good book by Sir Dennis AJ. It says International Human and People's Rights Law and Practice. Yeah, that's one of the good ones for him. Okay, Prince watching us from London says, yes, your guest is right. Justice Kobna Aban left Ghana to the Trust Hospital in London in April 2001 after swearing in President Kufuor in January 2001 for medical treatment, where he passed on to eternity. Yeah, so confirmed before that Justice Aban passed on whilst he was still Chief Justice. He died in office as a CJ and was not removed by John Agyekum Kufuor. Most NPP members had issues with the Supreme Court's ruling, which allowed people to vote in December 2001 elections without photo ID card, but that was not certainly a basis for the discussion of a removal of Justice Aban. Now it says that no judge in contemporary times has written more on the law than Sir Dennis Ajay, and so I believe people are rooting for him that he may be Chief Justice. Another one says that Justice Redu was senior most to most of the names mentioned. It says it was rather Aqua and Georgina Lutrot who were juniors. Okay, we can get to that. All right, Master Planner Junior from Kintampo says, in case Justice Poaman becomes the CJ after Justice Bafuboni, how many years will he also do as CJ? Well, we can check that out. We can check that out and look at it. Okay, but let's go back to the Appointments Committee and see two of the top rating videos of Justice Bafuboni's vetting. Two of the top rated videos that came out. Let's see them. Bafo will comment on them.
We are always talking about a bunch of plantains, a crate of eggs. My mother is a Catholic, was a Catholic. I always tell this story. Her mother was a Catholic. And you know, these old ladies, how when they said, in my time, the Catholic priest was a white person. So at the end of the year, my mother wants to go and then harvest a particular plantain that he has nurtured over the year. My mother was going to the farm every morning with a bent back. This young man was sitting under the shady tree. In our place, we call it in Kwankwanuase, playing drafts. Every day, my mother passed by him to go to the farm. Now, 1 year on, it is time for harvest. My mother wants to go and harvest the plantain to come and give to the Reverend Minister, the white priest, who speaks Latin. And then this young man has gone there. And you know, when they go there, they don't cut the plantain. They move it from the top. So my mother will walk all the way to the place before realizing that the plantain has been harvested. We sit in Accra here. When a magistrate at Gosu decides to send the boy to prison for 3 years, we sit in Accra here and say, the man stole only a bunch of plantains. Do you know what it means what the bunch of plantain means to my mother? It's like stealing your car. You see? So, I mean, there are so many reasons. The magistrates and the judge, they are trained. They have this, the sentencing guidelines. They have them. But sometimes they have to go beyond it. In my youthful days, I gave somebody 70 years. Atayi, I gave him 70 years. And what I told myself was that if Atayi was given 30 years and he comes back, my family will be the first family he will attack. So by the time he comes back after 70 years, I'll be dead and gone. In my youthful days, I gave somebody 70 years. Atayi, I gave him 70 years. And what I told myself was that if Atai was given 30 years and he comes back, my family will be the first family he will attack. So by the time he comes back after 70 years, I'll be dead and gone.
Lord Justice Bafo Boni, the soon-to-be sworn-in Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. Lawyer Bafo, it makes a good point. This has always been on radio, civil society comments on it. Somebody steals a goat and they give him 15 years. A politician steals money and they grant him bail. He says the planting means to somebody in the village like the car to you in the city.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he may be right. That may be the person's treasure.
Is that why he should be jailed 3 years?
No.
Because planting can easily be replaced.
There are sentencing guidelines. You know, under Article 19 of the 1992 Constitution, no person can be punished for an offense unless that offense is provided for by a written law and the sentence for which is also provided by a written law. And mostly there's a minimum sentence and there's a maximum sentence. And so one would think that stealing, regardless of the quantum which is stolen, remains stealing. For which reason, when you are being punished, you are being punished for the number of years prescribed by the law for the offense of stealing. And so it doesn't matter what the person may have stolen, except to say that the judge, in exercising his discretion, determining between the minimum and the maximum, which one is best suited for the facts before him, may determine, you know, how long the person should be incarcerated. And so, yes, people get all these, every now and then people make these comments. However, I was expecting the Chief Justice, for instance, to point us to that. Nevertheless, you know that such occasions are quite tensed. And so, you know, he may not be able to say everything that he knows.
He also said Atai's incarceration was 70 years because he was concerned.
Well, we may have to look at the judgment. In the judgment will be the real reason why he incarcerated him for 70 years. Perhaps this was the thought that went into the exercise of his discretion as to the number of years that Atai should be behind bars. I don't think that it will be the reason provided for in the judgment. Otherwise, he will make it appealable. It will make the conviction or the unsafe.
I see. Even years after it's been given?
Well, when you look at the law, there are periods within which you have to appeal, right? After which you are time barred. You know, appeal is the creation of the law. It is not a judicial discretion. It is not an exercise of judicial discretion. And so if he's within time, I don't know where Atai is now. I'm not sure if he's still behind bars or he has come out. If he's still behind bars, well, this is, and he's still within time. That said, he may have to consider whether or not the provision in the Constitution for application of special leave to appeal at the Supreme Court is applicable to his case, dependent on the facts of the matter.
That's quite technical.
Yes.
Now, looking at Justice Bafo Boni, you've seen him in practice. He talked about how he was at the Circuit Court for 7 years, High Court, Court of Appeal. What has been his trajectory?
So, another misconception that my party, that is the New Patriotic Party, has always been accused of, apart from the issue of the Chief Justice, has to do with the appointment of justices of our Superior Court of Judicature for the purposes of education to our viewers. When we say the Superior Court of Judicature, we are referring to the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. There's this whole misconception which has been built over time from frequent criticisms from our friends on the other side, that is the NDC, that during the time of the MPP government, that is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, from the year 2017 to the year 2025 January, The judges that we appointed to the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, we appointed them without regard to the senior most judges of those courts. When you look at the trajectory of Justice Bafo-Boni, it will tell you that that argument is also fallacious.
Wow.
Good. So when Justice Bafo-Boni was appointed to the High Court, from the Circuit Court to the High Court, in the year sometime 2002, Justice Senyor Jamepe, who went to the Supreme Court this year, was already a High Court judge. When he was promoted, when he was appointed to the Court of Appeal,
who was appointed?
Justice Bafo-Boni was appointed to the Court of Appeal in the year 2006. Justice Vida Akoto Banfo was already a Court of Appeal judge, having been there from 1999
to 2006.
To 2000 and no, when was Professor Mills?
8.
Yes.
No, I'm saying that Akoto Banfo has been there from 1999 to 2006.
To 2006 when Bafo-Boni became a Court of Appeal judge. Later on, Justice Bafo-Boni surpassed Justice Akoto Banfo
and others,
and was appointed. President Kufuor surpassed Justice Akoto Banfo and others, and appointed Justice Bafo-Boni to the Supreme Court ahead of Justice Akoto Banfo, who was later on to be taken to the Supreme Court by Professor Mills.
Yes, correct.
And when she went to the Supreme Court, Justice Bafo-Boni was her senior at the Supreme Court.
Even though Justice Bafo-Boni had met her at the
Court of Appeal. That tells you that appointments to our superior courts of judicature, the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, has never been by way of seniority. It is not the determining factor. Otherwise, Justice Akoto Banfo would have gone to the Court of Appeal, to the Supreme Court ahead of Justice Bafo-Boni.
Okay, I get the point.
Otherwise, Justice Senyor Jamepe would have gone to the Court of Appeal ahead of Justice Bafo-Boni. Otherwise, Justice Senyor Jamepe would also have gone to the Supreme Court ahead of Justice Bafo-Boni. In fact, Justice Atuguba, William Atuguba, was picked from the bar. He was practicing then in the Upper East, now Bolgatanga or so, and was brought to the Supreme Court. Straight.
At age 45,
At age 45.
Big deal.
I am sure at the time there were older lawyers at the bar
who could have made the Supreme Court.
Could have made the Supreme Court. But he was picked and sent to the Supreme Court. And nobody made a fuss.
Sophia Akufu also going to the Supreme Court
very early. And I'm sure at the time there were senior lawyers in Ghana who could have been appointed. So appointments to our courts have never been by way of seniority. That hasn't been the major consideration.
Very good point. I think your point is well made. It's 10 minutes to the top of that 11 o'clock. But let me ask you, Bafo, what happens to the Constitution if Bafo-Iwa is nominated to the Supreme Court as Member of Parliament for Mensah South? You lose your seat.
I have to resign from Parliament.
And we go for a by-election?
And go for by-election.
So the same thing is if Bafo-Iwa is appointed from the bar straight as Chief Justice, the seat is gone.
The seat is gone.
And we have to go for a by-election. Can a partisan MP be appointed Chief Justice?
Justice Puaman
was
the General Secretary of the People National Convention, PNC.
Not a controversial party. He's not one of the big two. He's not one of the duopoly.
Justice George Bwedi
used
to be a Member of Parliament on the ticket of the NDC.
Are you serious?
Justice George Bwedi, yes.
Supreme Court judge?
No, I'm not sure. Maybe he's been sent to the Court of Appeal in one of the recent appointments. I'm not too sure. But he was a High Court judge.
He was a Member of Parliament.
He was a Member of Parliament
for the NDC.
Yes, more than a term. He was an NDC Member of Parliament. He was the judge that sat on the Sal case
in the Volta region.
In the Volta region, he granted the injunction.
Before it was overturned.
Before it was quashed by the Supreme Court.
Oh, I see.
And he's not the only one. I think Justice Kobie.
Well, but they used to say that Justice Honenuga used to be an MPP, somebody in the Volta region.
It's not Justice Honenuga. They are referring to Justice Gaiwu.
Gaiwu, okay.
And
okay.
So that is evidence of the fact that Gaiwu is not an exception.
I see. Gaiwu is today on the Supreme Court?
He's at the Supreme Court.
Okay. He's been or he's part of the recent ones?
No, he's been.
He's been, okay.
He's been.
Okay.
I mean, he's not an exceptional case.
I see, that's also an interesting one.
Justice Puaman was the General Secretary of the PNC. You know, the PNC
is a minor party.
No, it remains a hybrid of the MPP and the NDC.
Oh, does it?
PNC is a hybrid of the...
So there's PNC MPP and PNC NDC.
That's right.
So Puaman is PNC NDC or PNC?
I'm not sure.
You can't say.
I'll find out from him in the future.
Anyway, congratulations to Parliament and to Justice Paul Bafuboni. We believe that tomorrow the Appointments Committee will send the report, and sometime this week, His Excellency the President will swear in the 9th Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. Let's see what you have on text messages and before we wrap up. And then we go to sports. Kanija is here. He predicted the Asante Kotoko game correctly. He said Kotoko were going to win. They did. Now, there's trouble in the Nigerian camp because the Nigerian Super Eagles are refusing to train. My second team for the World Cup, they are refusing to train. They don't want to qualify for the World Cup so we can have Ghana play in the afternoon, Nigeria play in the evening. That's brilliant. So I have 3 teams in the World Cup. Ghana first, Nigeria second, and you know who third? England. All right. Ella, what are people saying?
Right. Thank you. Coming from Bennett Danso, she says, honestly, I've been thinking all night about this Justice Bafuboni said at his vetting concerning the 70 years sentence he gave to Atai and his reason. Paul, I'm unable to comprehend. This is pathetic to say the least. I think a petition must be submitted for an investigation into Bafuboni's previous verdict on high-profile cases. World Link says, in any serious country, this man should have been disqualified for this position in the Atai case. What was the maximum sentence before I can fire this CJ? Nachi says, all the 2 scenarios the nominee mentioned were stemmed on personal interest. His judgments were never or may have never based on facts, law, nor justice itself. They are based on how they affect him personally, and this is dangerous for any nation. If this is the head of justice, this is dangerous. And lastly, coming from Yao February, he says, Acting Chief Justice Bafuboni has been nominated as Chief Justice to head the judiciary for 1 year to his retirement on the basis of rewarding him for paneling judges to dismiss suits filed by former Chief Justice Gertrude concerning her removal. His account to the NDC vetting committee that the former Chief Justice did not panel him for a whole year when he was senior at the Supreme Court as the Chief Justice. So him overseeing the suits filed by the former Chief Justice gave him all the power to retaliate by paneling anti-Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono judges to pave way for his appointment as substantive Chief Justice.
Right, so this one is from Bernard Jr. He says, truth is, punishment should be justified on these strands: retribution, deterrence, rehabilitation, incapacitation, and sometimes reiterative atonement. The answer the CJ gave in consideration to Atai's punishment does not fall on any of these strands. However, it doesn't mean Atai should be brought back after his atrocious crimes to society. The CJ's comment in a way suggests that personal fear or societal anxiety plays a role in sentencing and thus reveals something uncomfortable. Perhaps incapacitation is not always only for public safety, but can be for emotional reassurance, including that of the judiciary, which shouldn't be the case. And if he says that it is just as he meant in the platform, that becomes explicit and the purity of the legal reasoning becomes hard to defend. Simple questions like this may rise. Are judges given sentences because they are scared of what would happen to them after their predators come out? Are judges scared to prosecute offenders because of their political affiliations? If the CJ's intention to restore public trust in his service, then his comment is below bar and should be retracted, or clarification should definitely be given to sort the issue. Raymond says, good evening, Brother Paul and your team. The CJ verdict brought up some interesting revelations regarding Atai's jail sentence. I kindly urge Atai's legal team to take action to review his sentence now that the CJ nominee, Justice Barfor Boni, has confirmed that Atai's sentence was for his personal safety rather than based on the law. Ali Wilson says great submission. And lastly, from JB, he says presidents should stop appointing CJs in all. Back to you, Paul.
Okay, Lawyer, what's your final word on this show?
My final word is this, Paul. There is this whole misunderstanding about what happened at the appointments committee yesterday. We want Ghanaians to understand that we will never do anything as the minority which would be detrimental to the interest of the people of Ghana. Yesterday, we had gone in to participate in the vetting. There was no plan to boycott the vetting. However, when we saw the posture of the majority leader, the chief whip, the majority chief whip, and also the chairman of the appointments committee, we realized that they were not ready to accommodate us. And we all know that the appointments committee, the chairman, when you ask a question, he can overrule your question and he will tell you that he's moving to another person. You can't say anything, you can't challenge him. In fact, yesterday, viewers may have seen that at one point I raised my hand and I was told that I'm not a member of the appointments committee. However, everybody that has watched the legal cluster, the appointments that involve the legal cluster, would have noticed that I've been a constant feature. When the Attorney General was being vetted, when the Deputy Attorney General was being vetted, and the Supreme Court nominees were being vetted. But in this instance, I was told I was not a member, so I couldn't speak. And so if they were acting this way, clearly the evidence was that they were not ready to accommodate us. You heard the minority leader, the majority leader, saying that he would not allow the minority leader to breach any rule. The appointments committee is not a courtroom. In fact, Parliament cannot be a courtroom. Even in court, under the CI 47, there is Order 81 that accommodates irregularities, that allow judges to waive irregularities so that there will be some fluidity and not rigidity to how litigation is conducted. And so if court is being handled this way, right, how else is Parliament being made so mechanical? Clearly, they had decided that they were going to make sure the forum was mechanical, going to be protective of the nominee. We just didn't want a repeat of what happened sometime this year, where there was a lot of confusion at the appointments committee. So when they took that posture, we then decided that walking away, stating our collective view, because don't forget, the appointments committee, we are supposed to ask questions, and at the end of the day, go into conclave and make a decision whether we are recommending him by consensus or by a majority decision. We thought that, given what they had done, let's state our position and go away. And so we read our position, which came out yesterday for everybody to hear.
But the Speaker says he's apologized to the judiciary.
Very respectfully, it is politics.
What does that mean?
Oh, the Speaker is a member of the NDC. We can't detach Speaker Babin from the NDC. He's a member of the NDC. He was a minority leader of the NDC. He was a minister under NDC. And so you have to look at...
And a majority leader.
And a majority leader. So you have to look at Speaker Babin with a partisan lens. Even though sometimes he's a bit more flexible than, for instance, the first deputy speaker. He can be more accommodating sometimes.
Speaker Bagman.
Speaker Bagman.
But the same for Professor Michael Oquaye. He was a member of parliament for the MPP. He became speaker. So Oquaye is an MPP speaker.
Oquaye is an MPP speaker. But
yes,
in certain instances, some people can't take away their political coloration. When you sit in the chair of speaker, and I told you that Speaker Babin sometimes is more flexible than the first deputy speaker. Don't forget Speaker Babin would say the minority should be allowed to have their say. After all, you have your way. Yesterday, they were not ready to allow us to have our say. And we just didn't want any chaos that people will come back and say, look at MPP, the party is losing its attraction. Look at this party, where they are always fighting. We didn't want that. We have decided that we have taken a cue from the vote, from the results of election 2024. We want to open a new page that will make Ghanaians happy about us. And so fighting will not be part of the reasons why Ghanaians will be attracted to us. And so it was a more matured position to walk away. And that we did not boycott the vetting. We stated our position where if you had asked questions, right, there would have been certain conclusions. We just stated our positions. And then after stating our positions, we decided that we would take an early break from the vetting and allow the majority to continue. When they are done, we'll go together and make a decision and then go to the floor of Parliament and also debate it.
I see. Very well said. That was Lawyer Bafu, a member of Parliament for Ministerial South. Let's go back to Commonwealth Hall and then come back into the studio for sports.
Oga. Oh, good evening. Good evening. I will be Oga. Good evening. I will be Oga. Any other to that so any other. Oga. Oh, good evening. Good evening. I will be Oga. Good evening. I will be Oga.
And Kanija is here for sports. Fantabulous Kumasi Asante Oxford. Did you bet?
No, I didn't.
Did people bet based on what you told us?
Yeah, they did.
They won?
They did. They won.
I've seen the videos. Was it a penalty?
Yeah, it was a penalty in the first half.
You think so?
Yeah, the penalty happened in the first half.
No, the penalty that was converted to the goal.
It came in the first half.
Was it first half?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. At the stroke of first half.
And it was.
That was when the foreign importer, Morfin Donso, you remember we spoke about him. He scored. He converted a beautiful penalty.
So it was a penalty?
Yeah, it was through a penalty.
Hasselhoff goal, was it an offside?
Yes, according to the law.
No, how? It wasn't.
No.
At the time the throw-in came in, I wish you had the photograph. At the time the throw-in came in, he was in an offside position.
Yes.
By the time he made contact with the ball, he was onside.
Okay, so per the interpretation to the new law from IFAB, IFAB is the International Football Association Board. So per the amendment to the law of a player coming from an offside position and interfering in play, do indicate that when the last player who touched the ball, his touch is not deliberate, it doesn't make the player onside. So in this case, when the ball was the throw-in came into the Kotoko's 18-yard box, House of Folk player had his head first to the ball before it bounced on the head of the Kotoko's player and fell on the part of the House of Folk's player that eventually scored. So through that, it makes it not a deliberate attempt from the Kotoko player according to the interpretation of the law.
So that the Kotoko's player's action did not play the House player
Absolutely,
offside.
absolutely.
So he was offside?
It was offside.
Because
the referee had it right, yeah. He interfered.
So even if another person scored the goal, but he interfered, it's still a bad goal?
It's still a bad goal.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. That's quite interesting. Let me ask you, these days...
The ball would have stood only
another person...
Only it was coming from a Kotoko player direct to the House of Hoops player.
I don't understand that.
If the last touch of the ball was a deliberate attempt to clear or pass the ball from a Kotoko player, and it fell on the part of the House of Hoops player,
then that's a
correct goal. Yes, please.
Because it's deliberate.
Yes, because it's deliberate.
It wouldn't matter that he was offside.
No.
That he had come onside.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
These days, why do they wait so long before they blow the whistle for offside? What's the rule?
Okay, so the referee has to be sure of his decision. So in the advanced countries, what they do is that mainly they rely on the VAR. But on our part, we don't have the...
No, I'm talking about flagging. Sometimes it takes a long time down the linesman's flag. The commentators always say that the flag has now come up.
Okay, but with this one, the flag came up before the player scored the goal.
This one, I'm asking a different question. These days, when you watch English Premier League, you always I
do watch.
Yeah, it takes a while before then they say, okay, the flag.
I don't know. Maybe there will be communication going on backstage. I don't know.
But sometimes the players are playing. They are playing to the whistle.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Nigeria.
Yeah.
They are playing.
No, before we get to Nigeria, today is the birthday of the glorious team, Accra Hearts of Oak, 114th birthday.
Having lost their last game against Asante Kotoko.
Yeah. And it has spoiled so many things. They wish they would have. They wish they would have.
I believe it's Mohamed Polo's birthday as well. He's 69 years old. Yes, yes. Mohamed Polo, the Hearts of Oak legend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the famous CAF Champions League trophy won in the year 2000 by the Hearts of Oak team. And you can count the notable faces, popular faces over here.
Is that Ishmael
This is Ishmael Ado, Infant Tarabo, Samuel J, the goalkeeper, Jacob Neti, the captain for the team at that time. Emmanuel Osaikofo, general, also here. Yeah.
So this is the 64 infantry battalion.
64 infantry
Where's
battalion.
Charles Taylor?
Charles Taylor is not in this particular photo.
I see. Okay.
But he played an instrumental role.
Of course, he did.
And from that one, you come here. The late vice president,
Alhaji Ali Muhammad.
Alhaji Ali
Muhammad. This was the Kumasi Stadium.
Kumasi Stadium. So the Confederations Cup. It was the maiden edition.
Hearts Kotoko in the final.
So they won it in Kumasi and then brought the trophy back all the way to Accra Sports Stadium. So today marks exactly 114 years in existence for the glorious. Yes, please.
The oldest club in Ghana.
Oldest club in Ghana. So now the big game. Nigeria versus Gabon.
When?
Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday, 4 o'clock.
All right.
16 o'clock GMT. It's coming on live in Morocco. It's a big game by all standards. Checking the point that the two countries accumulated throughout the qualifying series. So you go back and then check the Gabon. Of course, Gabon is the only country that is involved in the playoff that had this particular number when it comes to points.
25 points.
25 points. Just 1 point behind. Yes, just 5 points behind Ivory Coast, the table toppers in Group F. So it makes their story quite interesting, and it tells how compact and solid they've been throughout the qualifying series. 10 matches from a possible 30. They were able to galvanize 25 points throughout the qualifying series, as compared to Nigeria. Nigeria had 17 out of a possible 30. And they were second in a group with South Africa in Group C. So Nigeria now come face to face against Gabon. There are so many stories on the internet, rumor mongering Nigeria.
Could it be psyops Nigeria is doing, that they have actually paid their players and they are saying they haven't paid them, just to flatter Gabon a little bit and get them not so ready for the game?
I don't think so. In recent times, I mean, the Nigerian Football Federation has come under huge criticism from the good people of Nigeria, simply because they have galaxy of stars and they don't know the reason why players are not giving out their best anytime they play in Nigeria. For instance, it looks like they are under some sort of huge pressure to deliver for the country. I mean, the point from a possible 30, you get 17. It doesn't speak well for Nigeria. This is a team that is having the likes of Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, Stanley Nwabali, the goalkeeper, Trusekon, I mean, Alex Iwobi from the EPL. There are great players in the Nigerian setup, but it looks like whenever they come into a national team, it's a different conversation altogether. So there has been bonuses and arrears that has left unpaid for the players, and that is the more reason why news coming from Morocco do indicate that Nigeria boycotted their training today, and I don't know what will be the latest development for tomorrow, because tomorrow will be the last day to the big game against Gabon. Aubameyang, 7 goals in 10 games for Gabon.
Never played in the World Cup.
No, never played in the World Cup.
So they're hungry.
They're hungry. Since 1990, they've never qualified. Nigeria is seeking for their 7th appearance at the World Cup since 1994. US 94, they were there. France 98, they were there. Japan, Korea 2002, they were there. They missed out in 2006, but they came back strongly in 2010. South Africa 2010, then 2014 in Brazil, they were there. Russia in 2018, they were there. Then Ghana, made sure they missed the last World Cup in 2022. So they are seeking for their 7th appearance so far as the World Cup is concerned.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, good luck to Nigeria. I still back Nigeria to win this game on Thursday. If Nigeria wins the game, what happens next?
Okay, so if they win the game, they wait for the winner from the Leopards of DR Congo and then Cameroon game. So it's more or less like a tall order.
And they are playing at the weekend?
Yeah, they are all playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, but the next game is a weekend?
Yeah, the next game is weekend.
Monday,
yeah.
Okay.
So Monday,
so
the
winner. Those 2 games?
After these 2 games, they have to wait for the winner between United Arab Emirates, UAE, and then Iraq. There is another playoff also going on. So the winner from that game will meet the winner from Africa. Then we decide the final slot. One person
Where will that game be played? The winner from Africa?
FIFA is here to decide that.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Good luck to Nigeria. Yeah. Thank you, Kanija. Okay. What are people saying? Last set of text messages and then we wrap up.
All right. So there's a lot of conversation about the CJ's comments on Atayi's sentence, and then people seem to disagree with it a lot. But back to this segment, Maxwell Bempo says, I wish this segment will last for an hour or 2. I love the sports segment. Lastly, from Master Planner Jr., he said, Mr. Paul, you're right. Mohamed Polo is 68 years today, 11/11/25. Good evening, Ghana. Papa. All right, over to you, Fatih.
All right, thank you. So, coming from Bernard Jr., he says, referees wait because modern rules says they must be sure the player is actually offside and involved in the play. This delay also allows the move to continue in case it leads to a goal, which VAR can then review. Basically, they hold the flag to avoid stopping a real scoring chance by mistake. And lastly, coming from Anasco, it says, Paul, please try and pay a visit to Park Grand Thumb at Azim. You feel sorry. We have to remember the heroes of the country. Now back to you, Paul.
Okay, viewers, 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 11 o'clock. What can we say? It's always a pleasure to come your way. I hope you enjoy the program. Thanks for watching and good night.